Our correspondent and occasional guest host, Luke Beasley, whose YouTube channel you can find at davidpakman.com/Luke, was on the ground at the very, very disturbing Trump rally in Waco, Texas over the weekend. Luke spoke to a number of people. The topics were wide-ranging. They included gay marriage. They included crisis actors at Sandy Hook. Yeah, it is 2023. Don't adjust your TV screen. It included philosophical questions about how do we really know anything? And it also included, of course, George Soros. Let's start with the topic of gay marriage. Here is Luke inquiring to a gentleman, and I'm using that term loosely, about gay marriage. Let's listen.
So what's inherently immoral about gay marriage?
It is anti-life and it is anti-vital.
What do you mean anti-life?
It does not produce kids, and the marriage itself...
Do you think it should be illegal for two straight people who decide not to have kids to get married?
No, I believe they should still get married.
But then that's anti-life, right?
It is not anti-life in the same way. Huh?
But they're not reproducing, just like two gay people don't reproduce.
Well, I get what you're saying. Basically, are you talking about people who know they're infertile and yet they want to get married? Is that what you're saying?
Any example of that one too? You're saying ban infertile people from getting married, even straight couples?
No, because at the end of the day, they could still adopt kids and raise them.
Gay people could adopt kids, right?
I don't believe they should. There's been recent reports about a gay couple.
This is what you call just ping-ponging from one topic to another. Gay people shouldn't get married because they can't produce kids. Neither can infertile couples, and also some couples don't want to have kids. Well, but they should be able to get married because they can adopt. But gay people can also adopt. Well, but gay people shouldn't be allowed to adopt. This is, you really can't, good for Luke, but you really can't talk to these folks.
That is known to abuse their kids. Look up the stats.
I can find you about 13 gazillion examples of straight couples abusing their kids.
Yeah. So then he goes to the child abuse meme. This is what it was. It's everywhere. This stuff is everywhere at these rallies. It doesn't make any sense. Here's a guy who's wearing an Alex Jones was right t-shirt who repeats a lot of the Sandy Hook conspiracies from more than a decade ago that even Alex Jones has since recanted. Although you could argue Alex Jones recanted only for legal reasons, but okay. Let's take a listen to this one.
So you're saying you don't think Sandy Hook parents were actually being harassed and they had to move multiple times, which you can see they actually had to do that?
Pardon
Do you
me?
think these parents are just lying?
I think that, do I think they're lying? Man.
The question is, are the Sandy Hook parents lying that they were being harassed?
I really want to answer that question, man, because I
By the way, it's just so everybody knows, this guy's a Christian, okay?
don't know. I don't know if they're lying. You know, all I know, my point is
my point is when I see a parent crying because their kid got murdered in a mass shooting, my first instinct is to trust them and not the guy who makes money lying about them.
Well, what about? I mean, I do believe that there was people that was what I guess they call. There were some crisis actors. I mean, how do you explain that? The crisis actors that
There
were
weren't,
caught.
though. That's what he was suing.
See, this is a very interesting moment. How do you explain that there were crisis actors? What are you talking about? That's not, you're assuming something that you haven't actually demonstrated.
And they were caught in certain different places. I mean, they were in the same places. How do you explain that? Do you trust our government?
I don't trust the government, but I trust the facts.
Okay. What are the facts?
The facts are that parents lost their children, and then a man by the name of Alex Jones lied about that and said there was crisis actors and fed your brain with a bunch of nonsense.
But people took that and blew it up over something because you know what I believe? I believe the only reason that they're doing this is because they've got to take him down.
Right. It's all a conspiracy to take Alex Jones down over things Alex Jones chose to say, has since recanted, and which we know not to be true. Well, it seems like a pretty big unforced error. Then we went to a woman who was very confused, visibly confused, I would even say, about why Trump would be arrested. This is pretty interesting because it gets very philosophical. How do we know anything? How can anything be proven in a court of law?
On that, I don't even know who's Alan Bragg and what's
Alvin Bragg. He's the Manhattan District Attorney, and seems to be reportedly considering arresting Trump.
On what charges?
In regard to the Stormy Daniels hush money payment.
Stormy Daniels. So how can they prove that was actually occurred? See, that's the whole thing where it comes down to how do we know what is true?
What is real?
And that's where everything in this
How do we?
time comes down to a spiritual reality.
So her view is it's impossible to ascertain truth at all. So all we can do is find a religion to follow, which simply tells us what is true. Pretty convenient, I have to say. If it works for you, I can see why that would be much more satisfying and pleasing than understanding the chaos of the real world.
The only way you can know what is true is to believe that there's absolute truth. Do you believe the Bible is absolute truth? You know, the reason America is having a problem is because we need to get back to God.
Can I ask a quick question? So if it's not like evidence here, you and I can look at, okay, is this something that occurred? How do we feel about it? Instead, it's a spiritual decision to understand truth, right?
It's a spiritual battle.
How do you and I come to some understanding of one reality if my spiritual truth is
Who's
different?
good, who's evil? How do you decide between good and evil?
I'm saying if spiritually I were to feel that Trump is bad because of his anti-democratic views or actions he took as president, and then you spiritually felt he was good, how would we come to some sort of agreement or even understand each other's side if it's not based on kind of empirical information?
Well, that's a whole big, you could call it a hurricane of a conversation that I would love to get into all the nitties and gritties of it, but
Probably not between here.
time's going to run out by the time we get
Agreed.
there.
All right. Yeah. So anyway, how do we know anything is really the question. And that's where religion comes in for this woman. But of course, it's like, which religion? You've got 1,000 religions and they very often conflict with each other. Luke then spoke to the first guy to raise the topic of George Soros. And Luke's pretty slick here in the questions he's asking, sort of trying to get at the anti-Semitic undertones of all of this. The guy kind of dodges it a little. Take a look at this.
Look at who's running the country. Our borders are free to come and go.
Who's running the country?
Biden, but more of his puppeteers.
Which are who?
Soros, George Soros, media in general, yeah.
Why is it that you use that particular term, puppeteers, in relation to Soros?
Because he has enough money, he can buy anybody. He has.
How much money has he given to Joe Biden?
I have no idea.
And there it is.
How do you know he's controlling him?
Because that's what I read, that's what I hear.
And do you believe the election was stolen?
No,
You don't.
no. I mean, I believe that there are people probably voted more often than they should, you know? And I believe there's a lot of people who were not registered that did vote. But
How do you vote if you're not registered? It's never clear.
I think after all,
Do you have any
it's said and
evidence of
done,
those things?
I don't have anything. I mean, I have as much evidence as all the other people here.
Right. In that particular crowd, there's a noticeable lack of evidence. I'm glad the guy is identifying that.
There's none?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So then, don't you feel it's pretty dangerous to say the election was stolen if you don't have evidence?
I didn't say
no,
it's
no,
stolen.
no, you didn't. You're right. I'm saying, sorry, I meant to specify Trump, because he says a lot.
Well, the thing is, when you got that much money and stuff, you can sweep a lot of things under the rug until the rug's too full. You
Right.
know? And then it starts oozing
But if
out.
you don't yet have evidence, I could say anything about anything. You're a murderer. I don't have evidence, but you could have swept it under the rug. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
have
that's
to have
right. When
evidence.
you're a politician, you're just sitting there as a target for anybody who wants to accuse you of anything.
Wait, I'm confused.
Well, I mean, I'm saying
The question at hand is,
This is, if you're confused by what this guy's saying, that's the right reaction.
don't you think it's dangerous for people's belief in the legitimacy of our democracy to say it was stolen, it doesn't work anymore, without solid evidence?
yeah.
He agrees it's extremely dangerous what he's doing.
So then for me, I would have a really hard time, even if I like other policies, supporting a political leader, if the most important part of our political process, our democratic institutions and process, is being kind of assaulted by his rhetoric.
Yeah, I think he talks too much.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, Trump probably shouldn't be saying that, the guy says. Same guy here with another woman. I think this might be his wife, but I don't know. Apparently his wife doesn't believe January 6th is really a big deal that should even really be talked about very much.
Agree.
Have you seen Trump rallies where they start turning cars over and burning them?
January 6th?
Well,
No, they didn't do it.
Oh my God!
You're getting beat up now.
Yeah.
Oh, don't say that,
No,
sir.
we just boo. We don't.
Didn't we just talk about we're not fighting?
Yeah. No.
Disagreeing.
No,
Exactly,
it's like
that's good.
we believe.
Wait, what do we believe about January 6th?
It's all a media media
Okay,
saying,
that was 2
It's just a media story. It's not even real.
years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Why do they keep bringing it up and rehashing it in different ways?
I can tell you, because it was an attempt to subvert the will of the people and block the certification of a president who got elected.
Nope. See, the guys, it's that simple. Why bother learning about things? Just do what this woman says. You just say no. It was an attempt to subvert the will of the people and install a president who didn't actually win. No. Wow, that's a pretty good argument, ma'am, I have to say. And then last clip here. Here's a woman who believes Trump won, but she's very confused.
What makes you believe Trump won?
Because he has the majority of people.
Even though
Look at
the
it, look
official
at it
vote
out
counts
here.
don't show that?
Okay, now did you notice that? She says, look around here. There are 3,500 people here in Waco, Texas who support Trump. Clearly that proves that a country of 330 million voted for him.
It was a fraud. What people did, they deceived.
Were you saying looking around here helps you to see that the majority is with Trump?
Definitely.
So
We love President Trump. The American people love America.
here's kind of an analogy. Do you know who Taylor Swift is?
Yes.
The pop artist?
Yes.
So I've gone, she's great. I've gone to one of her concerts before, and it's this massive stadium, probably 3-4 times the amount of people who will be at this event there to see Taylor Swift. And so there it would seem like everyone knows and loves Taylor Swift. But we understand if you polled Americans, it probably wouldn't be a majority who are fans of Taylor Swift. And so that kind of gives you a sense of when you're within a bubble, it can seem like everyone
Good for Luke. He's trying, but it's not getting through.
loves a particular thing or is a fan of a particular person, when in reality the broader world doesn't actually match that. And so we have to look at things like data, empirical information, such as our election results, to understand what the actual majority wants.
He won fair and square.
I mean, that's pretty convincing, right?
He got the majority. We love
He didn't even get the majority of the popular vote.
him as the American people. He has stood for Israel. He has stood for the unborn. He doesn't drink.
Right.
He has good morals. He has good kids. He has good grandkids. And we are blessed to have him as the President of the United States.
There you
What
go.
makes you believe Trump
Hard to argue against folks who don't actually care about reality, but they care about, I don't know, it looks like people here like him. It seems pretty good to me. Really nice job by Luke and a range of topics, a range of people, really good stuff. And we'll have all of these clips. If you're just listening today, you want to see what the whole scene is like visually, and I do recommend that. We'll have these clips up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/The David Pakman Show, and we'll also have them on our Instagram and on TikTok. These clips are going to be everywhere, believe me. Imagine for a second that you try logging into your email account only to find that your password was changed an hour ago. And then you get notifications of activity from your bank and then your credit cards. That is what identity theft is like, and it's a horrible feeling. And we dealt with it at the show not that long ago, but now I have an app called Aura, which gives me much more peace of mind. Our sponsor, Aura, is the all-in-one solution for keeping your online account safe, because Aura will scan the dark web for your personal info, passwords, social security number, and you get fast alerts when they find something. You also get fast alerts about credit inquiries. Aura protects all of your devices from malware. Aura even requests the removal of your info from data broker sites, and Aura helps you manage what your kids can do on their devices. You can restrict certain apps, set screen time limits, set focus times when you need them off of devices. Go to aura.com/Pakman to try it free for 7 days. Your login credentials might already be floating around out there, and Aura will tell you instantly for free. The link is down below.